However, the messengers who repolished these truths and set them before the people were soon to enter into an apostasy that would undermine the very message that they had once advocated, the message of Christ's imputed righteousness as the basis for our justification.
Let's get into actually what happened there at the Minneapolis Conference in 1888. Definitely they were preaching, Jones and Wagner were preaching basically Romans and Galatians and just saying this is the message of the Protestants. This is the great giving the beast, the Catholic system, its deadly wound. You know, uplifting the perfect righteousness of Christ with its infinite qualities. And His infinite obedience to an infinite law, and His perfection is an unquestionable perfection, and it's that robe of righteousness that He wraps around someone who comes fleeing to Him, sin-stained, broken, you know, whatever, fleeing to the cross of Christ, and Christ wraps His robe of righteousness, and there is therefore no condemnation to those who flee to Christ and lay a hold of Him. Justification by faith. Well, there was a fear amongst Adventists that that was an attack against the sanctified life and was diminishing it. Huge explosion of what was going on. They're wondering, where does Ellen White sit with this whole thing? She clearly says, if you're going to make me make the choice, I'm choosing not Jones and Wagner, what she finally ultimately was accused of. I'm choosing the gospel. I'm choosing Christ. I'm choosing truth. And she was unfairly accused of being influenced by her son, Willie, and by Jones and Wagner, that she loved these boys, and it was favoritism, and it was just completely like, you shouldn't have made me choose, because I will choose the gospel over man's opinion. So that really happened, and so ultimately what started to prevail was she threw in her endorsement to justification by faith, being a true Protestant. And in fact, to the point where she goes on a tour of all around the country with Jones and Wagner to, you know, uplift justification by faith, which they're asking her questions like, you know, is this the three angels' message? And of course she answers, it's the three angels' message in verity. You know, this is the judgment. We're joining ourselves to God. He has a robe of righteousness. You know, this is what we need to do, proclaim the gospel as the judgment. It was just very exciting. Well, the Holy Spirit started to pour down upon that truth in such a way. She says, this is the outpouring of the latter rain. It's built upon the everlasting gospel and imputed righteousness of Christ.